thank you all for joining us on the unusual occurrence of an August speakeasy, which doesn't happen very often. Not back in the source, so we're doing it online. But good to see you all joining in. And yeah, we'll remember, if we can mute ourselves if we're not reading, and then make sure that we're unmuted when we are reading, because it works much better that way. And yeah, and if you want to applaud, you can do so, or you can do sign language, jazz hands, waving. And there was a few apologies from people who couldn't be here this evening. Barbara Reynolds sends her regards and wishes everybody well. And Fernando Smith, Mark Griffiths as well. He can't make it this evening, unfortunately, so he sends his very best to everybody and says to tell everyone, you're all loved. So that's sweet. Okay. It'll be about time to get going. So I've got this one here, which is called Time, funnily enough. It goes like this. Tick-tock. The sparkling pendulum swings inevitably one way, then the other. A granite counterweight keeps it rumbling along efficiently, never losing momentum. A heavy clunk reverberates, followed by a gasping creak of the mechanism. Coils and sprockets twang and whir. Metal gears turn, clang, and mark time. Time can wax and wane like the moon, or rise and fall like the tides. It can run away with itself, or, on occasion, drag on endlessly. Each moment an eternity in its own right. Time is fluid. Time is multidimensional. Time will wait for you to catch up. Time is then off again, rushing ahead into tomorrow and all the tomorrows which will follow. There is no now or before or ever after. Time isn't real. It is our own construct to frame all that we've witnessed or infer from the celestial testimony left for us to observe all around us. If we are wise and use our eyes for seeing, time has taught us things we would never have imagined. Time has more lessons to teach us and more to record for the lessons to come. Perhaps time is real after all. It is merely our perception that needs altering. Today, tomorrow, and yesterday all exist and always have and always will. We cannot go back. We cannot skip ahead. We discover time's secrets when we are supposed to, not before. Like a trail we follow through the fourth dimension. There is no wrong way. There is no right. Surely the sunshine follows rain, the day follows night, and mile follows mile. All will be revealed, all in good time, all in good time. And that's that. Thank you. Okay, Juliet, what have you got for us?
I'll just unmute myself. I've got a few short poems, if that's okay. I was thinking I'd just read one, but if there's time, maybe I can do two then.
Yeah, go for 2 or 3. Yeah, that's great.
Okay. I was thinking about trying to do some work on how our landscape's changing and adaptations to landscape. So these would work as a little group. The first one's, I'll start with the first one, which is that it's got a shape to it. And it's supposed to reflect the animal I'm describing. So hopefully that will come through. Climate migrant. A hummingbird hawk moth has drifted too far north and found our back lane of flowers. With existential levitation it thrums, feeding on valerian, darting plume to plume, a day dancer, a furry-headed nectar mouse. In one beat of stillness, with proboscis inserted, it exacts sweetness from each red glove of scent. Thank you. The second one's based on walks on the fell at Ascot, and again, thinking about how things are changing, perhaps more culturally than biologically, and it's called Clearing. Head bent, I'm looking for marsh violets, scanning the ground for the lime green stars of their base. Men from the village have sickled a way through, a path the fell ponies still take to their bowl of shelter. In this clearing, I find a graveyard of gorse. Hacked lengths lie jumbled like the femurs of beasts. Pitted holes that sprouted spines and bark have been silvered smooth by rain. It is as if something used to happen here, a dead end that has been left to overgrow. Thank you. And the last one, if there's time, Phil, it's short.
Go ahead. Yeah.
It's again just about how adaptations, and I'm thinking about how we're adapting to the changes with climate and cultural changes in the landscape. Adaptations. In the dark, under pressure, deep in the Marianas Trench, is a fish expressing itself patiently in the mud, waiting for its next meal. It sits so long in the heavy blackness, meditating on the drift that will bring its prey, that its fins turn into feet. In the park, there is a tree covered in lichen, hosting mold and spores, and an owl that I hear but never see. This owl, like the fish, is waiting, its sonic ears tuned to the drift of its next meal, which will take the form of a shrew swimming in the grass beneath. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Did you want to mention that words for wildlife?
Yes, if that's okay.
Yes.
I just the first poem, the climate migrant poem, I just got accepted on a website called Words for the Wild, which is just all spelt together, .co.uk. And there's a submission window open for poems to go on the website. And it was really quick. I sent in 4 and they got back to me really quickly. And it's poems, they want poems that are to do with the natural world and maybe inspired by the naturalist, Gilbert White, who did lots of observation of nature. And if you get something accepted, they post it on the web page, which is really beautiful, and then you can record yourself reading it. So the submission window is still open, and I just wanted to say that, yeah, if anyone wanted to have a go, because there's so many lovely nature poems that I've heard while I've been on Zooming with you all.
Thank you for giving us a heads up. Yeah, we'll check that out. So it's Words for the Wild, and that's all one word.
Words for the Wild, all one, .co.uk.
Okay. Cool. I'll check it out. Never know what might happen. Thank you very much. Okay, Tony, have you got something for us?
I have, yes.
Cool.
As I've got a poem about a mouse. So here is a mouse And here is a different kind of a mouse. And the poem is inspired by a famous one by Burns, and it is called To a Mouse. We shiny, smirking bits of plastic, what right have you to be sarcastic and say, good effort, that's fantastic, when I gang agley. Beware, I may do something drastic and chuck you away. It's not your place to give me stick when I get muddled with my clicks. So don't remind me I'm a dick if in my haste it is or a cut or copy that I pick instead of paste. Yet I hold on, my sarky nurse, for fear of finding something worse. A touchpad is a bigger curse. So let's be friends and help me as I write this verse until it ends. Until it ends. Aye, there's a thing to give me pause. I have to battle nature's laws, lest these fat fingers turn to claws in my old age. Please help me in this lifetime cause to fill my page. That's it.
That's great.
Right. And our next one is also inspired by a famous poet, John Keats, and most exactly 200 years ago, in October of 1820, he was in quarantine on a ship in Naples harbour, and this brought to mind our current problems, of course, with the pandemic. And as you probably know, he didn't get back to this country. He died in Rome in February 1821, and the poem is based on a letter and he sent back. So I've called it Keats in quarantine. On a ship in Naples harbour, 10 days of quarantine due to typhus blazing in London, a stuffy cabin, Joseph Stephen was a good companion, but each was bound to grate on the other. I should have been in Rome, all Eddie seeking room. The Piazza de España or thereabouts had been recommended as suitable for consumptive patients. Sickness and diseases, ignorance to the waves of the world forever swelling and breaking. Typhus, TB, and probably the mercury with which he dosed himself had led him to this locked down state. A fellow passenger was consumptive too. A young lady whose imprudence vexed him. Bad symptoms. When he met her on deck, he did his best to keep a social distance. He wrote to Mrs. Braun, Annie's other. He told her that a letter was liable to be opened and fumigated at the health office. Said every man who can row his boat and walk and talk seems a different being from myself. I do not feel in the world. He wanted to describe the Bay of Naples, but said that his intellect was in splints. Then there's a postscript direct to her daughter. A goodbye and God bless. And that's it.
Thank you very much, Tony. That was terrific. How times change, eh?
A hinterland there, yes.
We've got about three minutes, so we'll maybe come to Josephine once we've signed back in again, if that sounds okay. I wondered if Juliet could tell us any more about the. We sort of covered the competition quite thoroughly, but I wondered if there was any more information you had about the when the closing date is for that Words for the Wild.
I think it's I couldn't really see, but it seemed to be ongoing, and it's only started on the 18th of August, so it's pretty recent. Yeah, so just go for it. You can just send 4 poems online.
Is it free?
Sorry?
Is it free, or is there an entry fee?
Free, and it's free. Yeah.
Well, that's sort of nature writing.
That's what we like, yeah.
Cool, good. And is there a panel of people assessing them or anything, or is it just?
Yes, there is, and there's a really interesting poet reading them. Oh yeah, I think the woman who does that advert on the telly, Joe Bell.
Right.
You know, the one for the Nationwide? She reads a poem for the Nationwide. We're all in it together, that poem. I think she's involved on the panel.
Oh, right. Oh, well, it's worth maybe sending some stuff off to then. And what's going to happen when in the end then? Are they going to be published or something, or?
I don't know if they, I don't know. I didn't read that far.
All right.
But I have looked at the website, so everyone that gets chosen, you can go down, there's a little bit about you, and then you can film yourself. So you can scroll down and you can read your own poem out as well as seeing it on the website. And the website's really beautiful.
Checked in the Words for the Wild site there, Phil. There's no deadline mentioned.
Okay.
The anthology has already been printed, I think, so that it's for the web pages only.
Sounds like a really cool opportunity. All right, Josephine, have you got something? A couple of things for us?
Hello. Yes. This poem's called Door. I found a door open in a tree into a core touched by flame. I found a tree that held me, that folded itself round me like a coat, a dress, like earth, the gentlest mother, in this dried up limestone gorge. I found a pile of brown leaves under the waterfall, where I waited for the drops of water, one by one. I found a path where there was none. I found creatures in the canopy, green night, blue sky, and the pole star. I've got another poem. Would you like a second poem? Okay, this is called NGC 1999. You're a human-shaped hole, a third of a light year across, 1,500 light years from Earth, staring at me from below the bells of Orion in the night sky. A black shape with a shimmering crown and mantle, visual magnitude 9.5. You are dust, or a hole in the dust lit up by the star B380 Orionis. You are empty space, no more empty, true, than the space around Orion, but you'd have had to be blasted out of the heart of your nebula by something big to be so truly empty. Who are you? Which empty hole in the heart of our world, in the heart of this observer? Which terrible hunger is big enough to hold you? Whose soul? Thank you.
Wow. Wonderful. Thank you very much. Richard.
Yeah.
Can you follow that?
Right. Yeah, I thought when you said all those numbers, it was your car number plate, but there you go. Right, I got a couple of poems. The first one's a slightly unpleasant one. It's called The Hangman's Tale. And the job of being an executioner isn't one I'd particularly like to do. You need few qualifications apart from a strong stomach and a sadistic streak, I would say. I imagine what it might be like to face capital punishment by hanging, and this dark tale is the result. In days gone by, hanging was the punishment for a multitude of crimes, petty theft all the way up to murder, and even children as young as 12 were not spared the noose. So whether you're in favour of the death penalty or not, I think we humans shouldn't have the ultimate sanction on another's life. The stench of fear, as steps they mount. I've done so many, I've almost lost count. Then beads of sweat form on their brow. They're off to meet their maker now. I tie the noose, pull down the hood. I do not care, they've not been good. Yank the lever, the end of hope. They're left dancing on a taut rope. They never scream, their voice cut short. All that struggling just comes to naught. Harsh punishment to fit the crime. Then they go limp, they've had their time. Then they're cut down and taken away. Features grimaced, their skin turns grey. Evil, gallant, however brave, they all end up in an unmarked grave. What's that? Thank you, thank you, thank you. I thought I'd lighten the mood a bit. I've got another very short one. It's called The Mona Lisa. And you may know or have heard of somebody called Leonardo da Vinci. He was undoubtedly a genius, a man far ahead of his time. His inventions were incredible and his art, I think, unrivaled. There's much debate about the enigmatic smile on the face of the Mona Lisa, his most famous portrait. And here I'd just like to add to the discourse of how he did it. I did read recently, actually, he had apparently very much better vision than most people, so that might explain something. But anyway, this is Leonardo telling you how he did it. I put the smile on the Mona Lisa's face. I had the time and she knew the place. We had all day, there was no need to rush. She sat still and I did it with my brush. I've heard it said that smile is enigmatic. I see what's there, it's automatic. There's a lot in the picture, it took me weeks. And then I brought the colour to her cheeks. Thank you. I'm afraid we've got the families up to stay for a few days, so I should probably bow out shortly. But thank you.
A wonderful contribution as ever. Thank you. Great, great work.
I'll send you a couple of those poems.
Oh yeah, that's
and then
fantastic.
you can sort out whatever. Let me know what the result of that is.
Shall do.
Thanks.
Cheers, man. Okay, Roz, we're with you.
Hi.
Hello.
I've got a couple of sort of vaguely weather-based ones, I think. So, the first one, I put the 17th of July, but it was round about then, and it was just when I opened the curtains, this is what I saw until later. Anyway, I called it Changed Outlook. I look up towards the hills and oops, yet again, my eyes can't see them because the sky's filled with rain, coming in across the field like a thick fog of grey that threatens to engulf all that gets in its way. Like a cold, damp blanket, it wraps around my home, leaving me isolated in a world of monochrome. And I'm suddenly afraid, my heart's sinking in my mouth, and I want to escape by moving down to the south. Until later that day, Winfell returns to my view, then Kirkfell emerges as the sun breaks through, making damp grass shimmer with luxuriant green and refreshed vibrant colours enhancing the scene as the top of Skidder appears in the now blue sky and wildlife stirs in the garden. I cannot think why I'd ever leave this beautiful place of mine, but so glorious when Cumbria's bathed in sunshine. And that's my computer going poem, sorry. Right, another one when it was windy.
Yeah, okay, we've had the rain. Let's go for the wind.
Yeah, the wind. I know there's been a lot of weather lately. The field on a stormy day, I called it. The grass is waving at me. No, not waving, drowning as it's forced sideways in the strong current of this wind, whose squally gusts throw leaves up like spray around flailing trees, desperate to escape their moorings and sail on the tempest, like the swiftly moving clouds that race across the sky, causing waves of light to ripple across the field with the uneven surge of a stormy swell. I listen to the wind waves roar as they crash with storm force into the windbreak of a hedge. And safe inside a harbour, I gaze across this strange rough sea that is the field on a stormy day. And that's what I saw sitting in the conservatory the other day. I got one more if you want it, but I'll.
Yes, please.
Yeah, it was based on that email you sent, and you said escape, so that word escape just gave me this one. Escape is always a possibility. Physical restraints can be overcome. That's not the issue. The question is, where can you run to? Some place that embodies freedom? Will anyone help you? Free you from these constraints and take you to Arcadia? No, that is a myth. Only you can help yourself, loosen these chains that are holding you back, give you permission to fly, like in your dreams. Perhaps then you will be free. But thoughts always bring you back. They will never let you go. Escape is only a possibility. So that's me for today. Thank you.
Thank you. Escape is only a possibility. Rings true for our times, I think. Nick, what have you got for us, Nick?
Hi guys, so I've got 2 poems for you today. Again, it's Lake District bound again. The first one I've got is called A Walker's Way. It's quite a different poem to what I normally write, primarily because it rhymes. I don't normally do rhyming poems, and it's quite quick and fun rather than, well, less my other ones are not necessarily fun. It's more thought-provoking, the other ones, really. So this one's kind of fun and quick. So it's called A Walker's Way. A world of footsteps zipped up tight, remembering the light, pounding hard ground, finding the true track, rucksack on the back, follow the contours, valley, ridge and stone walls, wild country calls, click of the sticks, rapid rivers breached, summit climbed and reached, midges crazed flight, pipits in sight, a natural delight, bracken and undergrowth, foxgloves on the verge, lichen and mosses merge, always on the urge, hills and skies collide, just enjoy the ride, for you're on mountainside. So that one's that one. So that's just about the joy, really, of walking. So I've enjoyed that, doing that one. It's quite different to what I normally write. I think I'll write a few more like that, though, because I quite enjoyed it. So this one's a bit different. It's called Martindale. It's about, well, it's about deer, really. It's about deer in the Lake District and how we view deer now and in the past, really. So there we go. So I'll read you it. So it's called Martindale because that's where it is. That's where all the deer are. Mist clears, gaping down, here on the nab, plunging, rolling, losing myself in the bowl. The line is drawn, standing high on unclear boundaries. This is Martindale. I see the beast, large and looming, and there is a moment, a silent sensation, close, antlers anchored like mazy brambles, welded to his bowing head. Landseer's monarch, symbolised and savoured, I see the change in front of me, metamorphic. In bygone times, a blessing from God, a feast in famine, prize beyond measure. I move on in another world entirely. That's it.
Great. Those both really
So
evocative.
I enjoyed doing those ones.
They're great.
Yeah, I enjoyed doing it. Trying to do something a bit different. Trying to write. I mean, I've been writing a lot of stuff on the mountains and that, but now I'm trying to work on things in the Lake District, perhaps, but more centered on one thing, and then bring out those motifs within that. So, yeah, enjoying it. Yeah, it's good. Kind of feel like I'm on the verge of doing something a little bit different.
Cool.
So thank you very much.
Look forward to what happens next. Susan, what have you got for us?
Okay, I just got one piece because I don't really have much time to write anything new. So, little bee stings, arrows over parapets, building to an onslaught of battle axes, crushing mace blows and swords of Spanish steel, slicing, scoring marks across the exposed stone. The crumbled ruins dismantled piece by piece, hand by hand of not even a once grand statue, still have porphyry to plunder. The lapidation of your words take form. I sought Medusa's kiss a long time ago. I am now so many souvenirs, a lithiasis over complete form, I become a trinity. My protests are rupestral over someone else's fireplace, my heart a cabochon wrapped in velvet cloth under yet another's bed. Still the plunder, ceaseless, chips and shale in grubby pockets, stone dust under fingernails. The rest is carried on the wind like ashes spread on mountain tops. That's that.
Really good. Thank you very much. George, it's you.
Hi, Phil. I should quickly have said that Finola can't join us tonight because she's actually running a Zoom workshop at the moment. Yeah, I wrote this about 5 years ago, but actually it struck me that it could have been just now. I was doing a sequence of things called the original tapes, which was where you dictate directly a poem onto my phone and then try not to edit. So this was reruns. I watch reruns to reruns, to reruns, to reruns. Can't watch things from new. My mind wanders, goes off in some strange place. Can't settle to it at all. Does that with reruns, of course, but somehow or other, there seems to be a comfort in a rerun. Things that you knew before, or think you knew before. Stories you half remember, quarter remember, don't remember at all, but know that you watched them. A comfort. A comfort in a television program that you sat here watching once in the past and understood. I understand little now, little that I want to know. The news goes on forever and is always sad. That's the thing about growing old. There is no future with hope in it. There is only a past which did not materialize, a future which will not be. And I kind of thought during lockdown, I could have actually written that just now. And hopefully slightly cheerier, though I'm not sure. Incense burner. Faintest billow of shapes, twisting and rising as I speak. Each breath moves those billows and twists, curls and swirls. I am lost in this world of mist and ethereal nothings. Ghostly wisps rise and rise, different shapes coming towards me, different memories, visions. Thanks.
Great. Okay, where are we up to? Drew, are you going to sing? Well, you're on mute at the moment, Drew. Not like you're a pro or anything.
Just no. Just as I'm trying to find my plectrum, where's it gone? I have to use this one. Yeah, this song I wrote quite a few years ago now. It's I must get my glasses on for it. You can interpret which way. It could be religious, could be more personal, whatever. But it's called Stepping Stones, and see what you think. Walking down the same old street, I've been down so many times before. I look around to see what I can find to give me some peace of mind. People smile, and I smile back at them. They don't know I've walked for miles. Still I walk through the darkest times, trying to find my way. Stepping stones, walking on stepping stones, each day of my life. Stepping stones, walking on stepping stones, just to get close to you. I don't understand those when they say I hate myself. After all, we're all made in the image of all that is. Should all take a leap of faith and try not to fall from grace. When you fall, pick yourself up and get yourself back in the race. Stepping stones, walking on stepping stones, each day of my life. Stepping stones, walking on stepping stones, just to get close to you. Whoa, whoa, close to you. So here we are, and facing the world, its beauty for all to see. Open your heart and you will find the magic that love will bring. Now here we are, united we stand, forgiven of all our sins. To be thankful for the steps you take on the stepping stones of life. Stepping stones, walking on stepping stones, each day of my life. Stepping stones, walking on stepping stones, just to get close to you. stepping stones, walking on stepping stones, just to get close to you. Thank you.
Thanks very much. That was great. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Craig, have you got something for us?
Yeah, I've just got the one. Excuse me. This one's called Everest. Everest 2020, March 13. Unlucky for a privileged few, Nepal's government locked down Everest. There will be no climbing season this year. Just a small team installing the world's highest 5G masts and marking 60 years since the first Northside ascent by a Chinese mountaineer. The spectacular snow-capped peaks, 100 miles from the City of Temples, were clearly visible from Kathmandu for the first time in decades. A benefit of the pandemic to reduce pollution levels due. In May 2019, there had been 11 deaths. Inexperience is said to have caused that spike. A short weather window and novice climbers are a lethal mix. This is no Lakeland hike. Just enjoy the views. Don't mind the dead bodies. As to breathe the thin air, you struggle. Leave it to others to calculate what's needed to keep you alive and with oxygen levels juggle. We may all now be in our Everest summit phase. Everyone walking a fine line between life and death, on life's edge. People with large amounts of disposable income these days are quite literally dying in the queue to get to the top. A knife's edge, cutting through their curiously inward-looking self-centered need here, to risk life and limb to share the first 5G selfie on social media. Just enjoying the views, not minding the dead bodies. As to breathe the thin air, I struggle, leaving it to others to calculate what's needed to keep me alive and with oxygen levels juggle. The true achievement of any Everest climb is almost always that of the support team that you can count on. It's the same as it ever was and will be for the rest of time. Poor people dragging rich people up the mountain. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Jean, what have you got for us?
Okay, hello.
Hello.
A poem about my mother and then one about my dad. This is just called Mam. She is a delicatessen of odours. She takes everyone's world on her shoulders. Her hands smell of onions and pare de nuit. Whatever she cooks, you better eat. She is not a meeting attender, but a match for any doorstep earbender. Though in her dreams, she's Doris Day, 'cause she knows all the words to Whip Crack Away. She is spiritually detached from her semi. She has a Pillsbury Doughboy belly. She is the self-deprecator supreme and the put-down queen. Okay, that was my mum. Well, she had those wonderful terms of phrase, such as, after you'd spent several hours doing your hair, she'd look you up and down and say, are you going to brush your hair when you get there? And another favourite was, you'll be keeping your coat on, won't you? If she didn't think you were suitably attired. Anyway, this is my dad. He worked at the iron works at Lackenby. And this is what happened to him. Iron Dad. Once he was a template for the back door in his leaden overcoat, but the works bowed him. his muscles vulcanized by smelter. He'd come home from 6 till 2 with a bait bag full of aches and tea cards for swapping with his mates. His eyes were always red, head down, seeing on the lino floor a cinder track in snow, in the kettle shriek a furnace roar. He'd meld to the stove, wearying the wooden stool, both of them creaking before the blast as mother dropped its door. I'd warm in his glow and balance on the gantry of his thigh. His hardened body told me this: some men keep their dreams, others let them die. Thank you.
Wow, it's really strong the last line there as well. Wow, good stuff. Jeanette, we come to you.
I've got a little go at flash fiction. It was a Pen 48 prompt, and it was Nighthawks, Edward Hopper's painting. I don't know, maybe it doesn't show too well on the iPad there. So this was what came from that from me. Reluctant at first, they had to get away. An empty bar, an empty street with empty windows, in empty night, away from empty people. The barman spoke volumes as he quietly took their orders, and at their eyes met his, something they'd grown accustomed to. An old man pulled up a stool at the bar and sat for some time, lost in thought and memories, circling the rim of his whisky glass. He, like them, had lost the home he'd once known, so was in no rush, unlike the others who'd carefully chorused into the night. At the last click of irregular shoe heels, the bar was gifted with silence. The turn of a bottle top and the trickle of liquor brought them back to the present, bringing brief refreshment and clarity as it cascaded over the rocks. They'd had to get away, and it was at this bar where they found time to talk through their story, their side, the side that was unheard of, the side that didn't interest the gossips and their high-horsed judgmentalism. Raising their heads, they caught sight of themselves in the mirror opposite. Where had they gone? Their reflection once sparkled with hope and exuberance in the very same glass. Where had they gone? They got lost in the smoke. They talked, they regretted, they talked, then found relief when the old man reminded them of his presence, with the setting of his glass on the counter and the tip of his hat as he left. Don't let yourselves be judged by those who judge. The barman nodded, then turned to polish the steam from the mirror. And that's that. Thank you.
That was really good. Really, really good.
Thank you.
Okay. We've come to the end of the list, but Mark, do you have something you want to share with us? Bear in mind, there's only about 4 minutes to go, but we can sign back in. I don't want to cut off your song again like the other time. That still haunts me.
Does that sound okay? I'm on the laptop for the first time. I usually use the phone, so yeah.
Seems okay.
You and the night. You have the night in your hands, wrapped around a finger under your wedding band. You have the night on your heel, chasing the ghost of a marriage that lost its appeal. You have the night in your hair, braided with sorrows beyond all repair. You have the night in your eyes, waiting in mirrors, where love brings surprise. You have the night on your breath, older than the religions, calling like death. You have the night on your tongue, trading our secrets, it's where we went wrong.
You have the night in your song. The chord of love waits, but it won't wait for long. The night is touching itself. It blushes as we pass. We don't want to live here anymore, with the shutters locked, the morning wrapped away, waiting like a gift for a missed birthday.
Okay. You have another? Or...
I do. What have we got now?
2.5 minutes.
2.5 minutes. I'll talk really slow and do a really short one. Oh, I'll talk really quick and do a long one. Or maybe I'll just do this. 6 bathers. This is for whenever the sun comes back and people can laze on a beach or whatever. Or maybe we don't do that anymore. An ocean. A notion of suntan lotion between my fingers. The substance lingers, the flesh will not fry. So come, why not try to focus an eye on the girl jumping a wave and waving her hand goodbye to the land, itself reclining on a sun lounger with a paperback and a pina colada topping up its tan. I really should punctuate that so you can breathe well.
That was great. We've got less than a minute. Did you want to do another, or shall we wait till we sign back in and you can do it?
I don't know.
That's your catchphrase, I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, Kitten Kong is being recreated in the
Kong.
Jean's room there.
So sings the nightingale, so cries the crow. I'm a singer, you're a school teacher. He conducts trains with a flag and a whistle. All things will continue without us. Time as austere as numbers, a hand waving aside a moth. This is the way of things. Anxious, he waits for her to turn and notice him. She looks beyond his shoulder, seeing only the pale city boys, the field, the passing car. He is no closer to the wild heart he craves. And that was written while Shirley Horn was singing Light Out of Darkness.
Fantastic. In a curious sort of way, it's mirrored quite a lot of the pieces tonight.
Was it? Oh, good.
Yeah, it's been interesting. Sort of, contemplative, really.
Do we have to go away and come back now?
Well,
what happens?
I don't know. We'll see what happens in a second. There might be.
Wouldn't it be good if there were like 10,000 people came back?
Yeah,
they come on the wrong site and they thought they were attending.
I'd like if he was just still speaking when he kind of recorrected, like he hadn't even noticed it had gone off.
Conference that in a Czechoslovakian.
The wish is his command. I've always thought the Czechoslovakian Circumference were an interesting band in the 70s.
Czechoslovakian Circumference is the whole of the thing, really. It kind of goes round and round. It's much as a Czechoslovakian animation. I grew up on Czechoslovakian animations due to poor parental guidance, and this is the sort of thing you'd used to find on BBC Two at sort of 1 o'clock in the morning.
It's meaning of life stuff that people.
It's just cartoons.
Now it'd be on BBC Four.
You don't see stuff like that on telly anymore, really. It's there's so many great things that they could be showing now, and you kind of get these dreary repeats of non-entities in the jungle and things.
Generations of kids have been deprived of those little cartoons that they would put on after a film finished because they hadn't quite made it up to the news or whatever. But
yeah, I always used to like the ones that warned you about getting taken away in a car to go and see some puppies. I used to feel I had a really poor childhood because no one ever asked me. I always fancied seeing a few puppies, you know. I'll just put myself on mute.
That's never going to happen. Right. Mark, did you have anything else you wanted to say, or a song or anything? Right, okay. Cool. Well, yeah, I think we're getting towards the end. Funnily enough, we've sort of brushed through things, but it's been... Oh, you've got some more stuff there. Oh, well.
Well, I was just shuffling my papers. I was shuffling my spuds.
Right.
Anymore.
Hello. Hi, Tony.
Cool. All right. All right. Well, it's been really good tonight. As I said before, it's been kind of meaning of life sort of stuff. But I think I've learned something. Yeah, I came up with lots of stuff, but I think I'll save it for another time. It's getting a bit, it's getting dark, and it's not really better. This one's called Just a Thought, and it goes like this. There was a young man who was going to write something. He had the intention to put pen to paper, to power up those digits and pound out those keys. A blank page sat staring back mockingly. The man who was going to write decided to think, for it's in thoughts where most writing is done anyway. So he thought and he daydreamed. Bits of ideas came and went, pieces of jigsaws, but to all different puzzles. Still no words appeared in black and white. More thinking was needed to spark the notion, to stoke the fires of imagination. Cognitive cartwheels catapulted creativity through his central nervous system. And still no notion emerged. I really must write something, said the man. He thought that he would, but he thought it wouldn't be as good as it should or could have been. I should have done this years ago, thought the old man. I'll just wait and see what thoughts come to me. One day he felt funny, and not in a good way. Soon after, his days were slipping away. I should have written that something, but I spent all my time thinking, and none of it doing the thing I had so wanted to do. And so the man became words on a page, and later a thought in the memory of the girl who read those kind, tender words and had an idea. Maybe his was the story worth telling after all. It's just a thought. And that's that. Thank you very much. Right, the evening's been building to that. Anyway, right. Well, thank you all for reading. Can we give everyone who read a round of applause? Can we just get them a... Everybody who sang, and everyone who listened, everybody who bantered and all that stuff. It's all good. And yeah, we'll see you.
And Phil, a round of applause for Phil.
Oh, thank you, Will. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Becca's not here, so I had to step in.
Right.
It's usually Becca's job to do that.
You're Becca's understudy, are you? I see. And I'll be contacting you regarding Captain Arithmetic 2 very shortly. Okay.
I noticed, Phil, there's some nice fabric action going on in your left ear there.
There is, yeah. That's me. It's me white coat for when people come around to say if I'm doing okay in the lockdown.
Yeah. I like the idea of having curtains with that floral print means you don't have to have a garden.
Oh, the curtains, yeah. Well, those two. You know, I don't need to go out.
I think that tells me that you're extraordinarily aware of your white coat. It's very present in your mind.
It is.
And then what I
Always
deduce
there.
from that is that white coat has something pertinent, or there's something going on in the past around that white coat. I think you're from a long line of laboratory rats.
Thank you. That's how life is.
What did they
isn't it?
test on
Just
you?
one experiment to another.
Yeah. Those test tube babies.
And there's another story. We nearly got to the end of another night, but no, it went weird.
Yeah, don't go.
Oh, thank you very much, everybody. Stay safe. We'll see you again soon. Bye for now. Bye.
Bye.
Have a safe trip home.
I'm not going.
Bye.